He is more than a finder of lost things. Here are some lesser known facts about St. Anthony of Padua. His name was Fernando Martins. St. Anthony wasn't always Anthony. He was born Fernando Martins to a rather well-established and wealthy family in Lisbon, Portugal. He was inspired by the Franciscan martyrs. Coimbra in Portugal was home not only to the Augustinian canons, but also to the new and growing order known as the Franciscans. When the bodies of 5 Franciscan friars who were martyred for preaching the faith to the Muslims of Morocco were returned to Coimbra, an impressive and solemn procession took place in the town. Even the Queen was present to welcome the earthly remains of the martyrs back home. So moved was St. Anthony by the sacrifice of these 5 men that he is said to have gone to the Franciscan friary and asked to become a Franciscan, but only if he too could be sent to spread the gospel and die a martyr as well. He was a doctor. St. Francis was said to be very wary of his friars becoming too learned, which he said became a temptation to pride and self-importance. This was sometimes all too evident with those sent to preach and spread the gospel. In Anthony, however, St. Francis found a true brother, never self-important and having embraced the same poverty in which most of his audience lived. Father Anthony soon became trusted by and important to St. Francis. He was given the task of educating the Franciscan friars and eventually became the provincial superior of the order for northern Italy. For his depth of knowledge, imbued with personal holiness, and his ability to explain the deep, mysterious truth of the faith to simple, ordinary, and often uneducated people, St. Anthony was made a doctor of the Church by Pope Pius XII. He didn't actually find any lost items. So how did he become the patron saint of lost or stolen objects? In 1224, St. Francis asked Anthony to teach theology to the friars. To assist him in teaching, St. Francis gave him his Psalter, or Book of Sounds. This must have been very cherished, especially since books were rare at that time. One day, a young novice decided he wanted to leave the order, and he took St. Anthony's Psalter with him as he ran off. Understandably upset by this, Anthony prayed that the young man would be moved in his conscience to return the book. Well, this is where our finder of lost items gets his reputation. Because not only did the young man return the stolen book, he also returned to the order, having refound his vocation too. St. Anthony was only in his mid-30s when he died. Father Anthony lived a saintly and full life, a life dedicated to finding God's will, prayer, and poverty. It may come as a shock then to discover that he died at the young age of 36. By the time of his death, as another illness took hold of him, he had preached for the Pope, taught at the friary in Bologna, Italy, and had drawn crowds of 30,000 or more, and made more than 400 trips to preach the gospel, both in and out of Italy. You can still see St. Anthony's tongue. Almost 340 years after his death, St. Anthony's body was exhumed and was often done with saints. His tongue is in a gold reliquary in the Basilica in Padua, along with his lower jaw and vocal cords. The young man who desired a life of quiet contemplation with the zeal of the martyrs and the gift of preaching is definitely more than just a finder of lost items and misplaced car keys. His life is an example of what God can do with each one of us if we would only ask this powerful intercessor for a little help in finding Him and His will for us. St. Anthony of Padua, pray for us.